Hello, everybody. This is Chrissy here. This is a thumbs up. It's just become a natural action. Actually, it's like, yay! How does it get better than this? Who am I today? What grand glorious adventures am I going to have today? So I am having an adventure today. I'm Chrissy Shirley, and um, I've been doing YouTube videos for a long time, and I've just discovered that none of you know really who I am. I mean, how does it get better than that? I just want to introduce myself to you a little bit. I've been doing Access for over 25 years. I'm nearly 80. I'm 78. I'll be 78 in a few days, in about 6 or 7 days. And to be an Access certified facilitator, it takes a lot. It's a lot of training. And, every year I redo my training with Access Consciousness. I absolutely love the classes. I love the tools of Access. I love what they do. I love the bars. I love the processes. They undo things. They allow you to have create something greater than what you've been creating. And so I just want you to know that you don't just be an Access certified facilitator. It's really a choice that you make. I made it many years ago, and then I continue to choose it and choose it because why do I choose it? First of all, I love the classes. I love doing the classes, attending them, and getting the changes for myself. And um, and that's pretty much the main reason I do it because I really love the classes. I love certified facilitators training. It really does take you to a next level of awareness and consciousness. So that being said, I just want to let you know that the access tools really work. The bars is an amazing process that helps people to get free of, it helps them to move forward in life from any kind of upset or difficulty and many other things as well. And I also do work with people over Zoom using Access processes. So today, what I'd like to talk about is um, many people talk about how do you develop self-awareness. And I, I've heard people say, self-awareness is great. Yes, self-awareness is great. I agree. And I've got 13 tools. So I've taken some of these tools from more of the metaphysical side of things, and I've adapted them to saying them in an access consciousness way. So, how do you do that? Well, one of the things that people suggest is that you know your strengths. So with Access, what you can do is you can ask yourself, what are my strengths? What am I good at? What would it take for me to have clarity and ease with my strengths? And once I know my strengths, what would it take for me to acknowledge my strengths? What are my strengths? Well, I need to ask a few more questions around that. I think one of my strengths is being enthusiastic for creating a greater life. Enthusiasm, being inspiring. And these days, I do know that one of my strengths is I really am very positive. I don't go down rabbit holes anymore like I used to. I've learned the tools. So I'm persistent, I would say. Is that a strength? I would say that's a strength. What do you think is a strength for you? So that's one. And another one is to know your weaknesses. So do you have any weaknesses? Do I have any weaknesses? Well, I would suggest that a weakness might be something like, do I get angry when someone says something I don't agree with? I wouldn't call that a weakness. I would call, yeah, maybe it's a trigger. Um, but you could actually ask that question, what are some of the things that I need to be aware of, rather than use the languaging of weakness. What do I need to be aware of about myself that if I became aware of it, I could change it? So that's the way I would put that. Another one is to be curious about yourself. Well, In Access, we talk about asking questions. What do I need to know about myself that if I know it or if I knew it would expand my life? So that's a question I can ask myself. You can too if you want to. What do I need to know about myself that I don't seem to know about myself? In fact, when I ask that, I'm just being aware that a lot of people will see the values that of the value of you and the strengths of you that we don't seem to be able to see ourselves. Like, for instance, a really good example of that would be when I play the piano. It was Gary Douglas that said to me, "You have a gift with the piano." And it's taken me a long time to get it. Also, um, when people tell you things and they're sort of really positive things, it's really hard to see them in yourself. And so this is when you have to start saying, oh, what would it take for me to really acknowledge these things that are really great about me that I don't seem to know and realize? I think that's a really good question. So that's about being curious with yourself. So another one would be is what they say is let your guard down. I think that's a great idea. What we would say in Access, we would say push the barriers down. Energetic barriers that we put around our body, around our whole being to protect ourselves. Whereas when you put a barrier around yourself to protect yourself, really, you stop yourself from receiving information. You stop yourself from being aware. So, what I would say is push down all those walls and barriers, push them down. In fact, this is something you could say to yourself all day for a long time. And it's something I used to do a lot, and I'm going to start doing it again, like all day. Check in with myself. Are my barriers down? Have I put my barriers down? Okay, push those walls and barriers down. That allows me to be aware and receive energies, receive information, and see what's going on. Much more awareness. That's a good one. Okay. One of the things they suggest is to always ask for feedback. Well, possibly. When you do something for somebody, if you're asking for feedback, maybe you're asking for validation. Um, yeah, I'm not quite sure how you would use this. I think it's a good thing that sometimes I might ask a client for some feedback because you're not necessarily aware of what a person receives maybe from a session. And it's really to make it clear that I'm not looking for validation. I'm looking for awareness of things that I'm not aware of that I could change to make a session even greater. Um, number number 6 is to question your values. Well, I would say, what are my values that I can create my life so that I value myself more? Now, an example of this would be I know my daughter values having quality time with her friends. She, when she and her family. So when I was over in Perth just recently, she gave me quality time. She spent time with me. She took time off work. I was really felt valued. And I know that's a talent that she has with her friends is to make them feel valued. I like to make my clients feel valued. If they come for a one-on-one session, quite often I'll ask them if they'd like a cup of tea, and I like to make a cup of tea and give them a little biscuit and sit down, have a little chat, and enjoy a cup of tea. A cup of tea tastes really good when it's nice and hot, and it's like you how you like it. So that's one of the things that I like to do. Know what triggers. This is number 8 that they have. Know what triggers you. Well, I would suggest that maybe you could ask questions. What does trigger me? You can ask yourself, do I sometimes react to certain subjects when people talk about different subjects? And then next time that subject comes up, I'm going to choose to relax and I'm going to ask a question. So I might ask, hmm, what makes you say that? So that I'm not getting pulled into the triggering of what's upsetting me about that particular subject. And then I'm going to choose, I'm going to be totally present with whatever this person says. So when I get triggered, I'm going to be totally aware. And so I'm choosing ahead of time so that when I do, if I do get triggered again by any particular thing, straight away I have an awareness of how I'm going to respond. And I've prepared myself for that. That's how I would work with that. Number 9 here is become self-disciplined. I would like to make a suggestion that instead of being self-disciplined, that I choose to be more committed, fully committed to my life. What would it take for me to be fully committed to my life? And when I choose to have commitment to my life will show it greater. I know that because whenever I choose it, which is a lot, I do become more aware. And number 10 that this person has is be open. So how would I put that? I put get your bars run. What the bars does is it opens you to more receiving. You receive different possibilities. You receive different ways of doing things. You start to look for how you can expand your world, how you can have a greater life. Being open would be, for me, get your bars run. Get your bars run more than once or twice, maybe, maybe up to 10 times, so that you can see how your life opens up. That's what bars does for us. It opens up our world and our lives. Number 11 for this person is meditate. Well, I'm going to suggest having your bars run is meditation on steroids. Having your bars run, it just really allows you to zone out. Sometimes people go off to sleep. Maybe they just zone out. They're not really asleep. They're still here, but they are zoned out. That's meditation on steroids. And it works without any effort at all. And number 12 here is try new experiences. I think that's a great suggestion. To become more aware is trying different things, different ways of doing things, drive different ways to work instead of going the way you normally go. Okay, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go the back way. Or instead of driving into town, I'm going to take a bus. I mean, there's buses just up the road. I can catch a bus. And I've done that occasionally, not a lot, but it's always a different experience to catch a bus and then maybe walk home and then maybe catch a bus for some of the ride home, some of the way. And what else? Question. So we have amazing questions in Access Consciousness, like what would it take for my life to change? What would it take for my life to grow? What would it take for me to have more possibilities in life? Another great question I love to ask is what would it take to thrive and prosper beyond my wildest dreams? So we've got some amazing questions in Access. How does it get better than this? What else is possible? A whole list of them. You can go up to chrissyshirley.com and get some of those questions and learn how to use them. You don't answer them, you just ask them. You can ask like what would it take to thrive and prosper beyond my wildest dreams. You can ask that 20 or 30 times a day, like whenever you stop for a little break from what you're doing. Go, oh, how does it get better than this? What else is possible? I'll put the link for that so that you can go and find it on chrissyshirley.com. Questions open the energy of the molecules that allows new possibilities to show up. That's what questions do, whereas an answer stops the energy, it stops possibilities. So asking questions is one of the tools of access consciousness that we teach early on, that we give them to people. Let's ask these questions. They really do open up your life. Like, how does it get better than this? What else is possible? And number 13 is keep checking in with yourself. And I think that's a great one. No matter how long it takes and no matter what it takes, let's ask for more self-awareness. How do I ask for that? What would it take to have more self-awareness? And then you can check in with yourself. Am I still present? Am I still aware? Am I aware and present? Am I choosing to be conscious and aware every moment of every day, all the time? And yes, let's ask that. And every day ask, I'm choosing consciousness. I'm choosing to be conscious and aware in every moment of every day, all the time. And so thank you so much for listening to this. Um, if any of you are interested in trying out the Access tools, finding out how they can work for you on Zoom so that you can change things easily in your life. Many, many different things can be changed. Um, I'll put a link in for you so you can schedule a free Calendly. I'll put a Calendly link, and you can choose a time that suits you, um, and we can get together over Zoom and create new possibilities for you. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to hearing your feedback. Can I have some feedback, please? Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And I need to choose. I need to stop this. Bye-bye, everybody.